You tapping in real quick for this UFC fight night. Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivac 2. Will we see a part 3? Will there be a rubber match? Or will Marcin Tybura, the OG, dead this rivalry on Saturday? We're going to have to tune in to find out. I appreciate y'all for tapping in though. This video right here, this is the full card breakdown and predictions. Let's go ahead and dive into it. Real quick though, before I go any further, after this video is uploaded, later on this evening, there's going to be a parlay video uploaded. Prelim parlays, main card parlays, and whole card parlays. I cannot stress enough. This is why I do the prelim parlays, the main card parlays, and the whole card parlays, so that if somebody fumbles the bag on the prelims, we're still live for the main card and possibly still live for some of our whole card parlays, as long as whoever fumbled the bag on the prelims wasn't wrapped up in everything. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? We swept the main card this week. I put them 5 legs out for like 6-7 times your money Monday or Tuesday early in the week, and 6 legs for almost 8 times your money. You understand what I'm saying to you? And both of them secured the bag. And then the main card parlays that I offered and that I told y'all that I was invested on, the ones that I liked, that was my picks, and then the swap out options with my picks, that shit all smacked. You know what I mean? So if somebody on the prelims fumbled the bag and fucked up everything for you and you wasn't able to secure a bag at all this week, man, with all due respect, that is a self-inflicted wound, man. I have stressed over and over, and I have been redundant. Prelim parlays, main card parlays, whole card parlays. You understand what I'm saying to you? Find your ones that you like, that you feel like are locks, and then start doing swap out options for that extra leg, man. But you know, it is what it is. To each their own. But this is why I'm redundant as fuck when it comes to that, man. You know what I mean? If you clean sweep the prelims and you got bags secured prior to the main card even starting, that's a fucking blessing. But somebody fumbles on the main card and fucks up your whole card parlay and your main card parlays, you still good, because you had the prelims secured. You know what I mean? And it had nothing to do with your whole card and nothing to do with your main card. You know what I mean? You got to do them prelims and you got to do the main card. Then you go ahead and do the whole card, where you take some from the prelims and some from the main card. And, you know, mix and mingle that shit, man. I just want to get that out the way, because when I post these things, man, you know, it is for y'all to take what y'all want to take from it and dissect it as you want to dissect it, you know what I mean? And put together what you want to put together. But I do stress prelims, main card, whole card, man. So if you taking certain things from the main card picks and certain things from the prelim picks and swapping them together and coming in here Sunday talking about, man, this one fumbled the bag, I wasn't able to cash, man. That's a self-inflicted wound at this point, man. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because you should know by now, one thing should have nothing to do. Let me put this prelim in. Let me put these main cards in. Then let me slap them together, mix and mingle, and do this whole card and really try to get the bag with the 6 and the 8 leggers. You know what I mean? Do them 3 and 4 and 5 leggers. Do them haymakers for 6 and 7 leggers on the prelims. You know, do them 5 leggers or sometimes 6 leggers on the main card. Then mix and mingle your favorite 3 from each side and do your 6 leggers or your 7, 8 leggers. You know what I mean? But you got to put them together so one thing has nothing to do with the other, so you're not, you know, looking crazy, man. Because somebody fumbled the bag on the prelims or somebody fumbled the bag on the main card. I'm done. I'm done. I ranted long enough, man. You know what I mean? I'm done. That's why we do that, though. Let's dive into this right here, though, man. Danny Barlow, as of right now, you know, the lineup that I looked at, Danny Barlow versus Nikolai, old boy. There's a couple old boys on here for me this week because I don't know how to pronounce their names, so I'm not going to butcher them with all due respect, man. I like Danny Barlow, man. I like him. I like his range. I like his game. He's solid. I like his frame. You understand what I'm saying to you? He works well from range. He can control his distance. You know, as of yet, he's proven to be able to control his distance management. Is proven to be decent. You know what I mean? His IQ is proven to be decent. You feel me? And he has put together the better body of work, in my personal opinion, from what I've seen. From the other side, old boy, don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm rocking with Danny Barlow to go ahead and get this one done in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Hopefully this is not the fight kicking off the night. Hopefully they rearrange this and shuffle this order around a little bit. I'm happy where most of them are placed at, but I'd like to see Danny Barlow and old boy a little higher up the card, man. Gregorio versus Kazama. I don't want anything to do with this fight, man. You know what I mean? This is a complete pass for me, and honestly, it should be for y'all as well. I'm not high on either one of these young men. You know what I'm saying? I'm not impressed by either one of their bodies of work in or outside of the UFC octagon, anywhere, you know, in their careers from what I've seen. That's just from what I've seen. Maybe you've seen something I haven't seen. Maybe you've seen a bit more than I've seen. You understand what I'm saying to you? But from what I've seen, from my personal opinion, fuck this fight, man. You know what I mean? And I can't gauge where either one of these individual ceilings are inside the UFC based off of performances against each other. And with that being said, I really feel like they've already reached their fucking ceilings, man, because it already was not that fucking high for him. Kazama's probably a little bit lower than Gregorio's, or however you say old boy's name. But with that being said, his ceiling, if old boy's ceiling here, his ceiling's probably right here in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? If he hasn't banged his motherfucker, he's not banging his head on his ceiling in this matchup, in my personal opinion. He's probably going to be able to go ahead and secure the victory in this matchup via possibly, a unanimous decision. Maybe something crazy happens and it's inside the distance. Like, I can't call this one, man. I'm being honest with you. I can't call this one. It's a shit fight in my personal opinion, man. That's just me, though. You know what I mean? That is just me. To each their own, and I do apologize for anybody who's on either side of either one of these guys, heavily invested and, was looking for a bit more. I don't have too much to offer, man. You know what I mean? Nothing about the resumes stands out and impresses me. Nothing about the body of work from either one of these young motherfucking men impresses me in any way, shape, form, or fashion, in any department. You understand what I'm saying to you? This is not UFC level competition. Danny Barlow and old boy whose name I do not know how to pronounce do not belong below this motherfucking matchup. It's ridiculous, man. But it is what it is, man. For the sake of the pick, I guess we going with we going with G. K's catching the L. We rocking with G. For the sake of a fucking pick, but I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight, man. I gotta roll one up here, though. That shit just gave me a headache, man. Talking about that fucking fight. Oh my God. Stephanie versus T. The young woman who maybe I didn't write that shit down properly. Because again, we old school over here, man. Shit is written down in front of me. You know what I'm talking about? We don't have no other screens out here, man. Maybe I just wrote that shit down fucked up because my shit can look a little chicken scratch sometimes when I'm just trying to get through it. I don't know how to pronounce whatever I wrote down. So, Stephanie versus T. And I don't want anything to do with this fight either. I don't want anything to do with this fight either. You have Stephanie, who is 5-1-1. And T, who is 5-0. T's 5-0 is up against opposition with combined records of 23 wins and 11 losses. Stephanie's 5-1-1 is up against opposition with combined records of 16 wins and 2 losses, although she has suffered 1 loss and, went head-to-head for 1 draw. She has faced the somewhat better level of opposition based off of that right there. You understand what I'm saying to you? I'm going to side with Stephanie in this one to get it done because this is low-level women's MMA, and not only is Stephanie 9 years the youth at 20, I believe T's like 34 or something. So old girls, you know what I mean? She's 9 years younger. She's like 34, 35. Old girl's 9 years younger than her, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I mean? Has an 8-inch reach advantage. In some places, other places it's like 6, but either way, she possesses a significant reach advantage. And she's 5 inches taller. You know what I'm saying? So 9 years youth, 6 to 8 inches in the reach department, 5 inches in the height department, which will work for the kicks. You know what I'm saying? Works for the teeps, the legs. All of that will work very well for her in the striking department. The 9 years youth will work very well for, you know, in this not mid-level, in low-level women's MMA, I'll side with that. I'll take those advantages. Because nothing about their bodies of work that I've seen. I've watched only maybe 1 or 2 fights from both of these individuals, man. But with that being said, I wasn't really intrigued to watch much more or go looking for much more. It is what it is. It's not a whole lot of tape to find anyway. You know what I mean? Old girl does have grappling in her back pocket, but as I said, in prior matchups, like when Shorty came in here, you know, against what was the fight that just happened, man? And old girl's girlfriend came in, made her UFC debut, upper weight class, and I said, you know, one thing don't necessarily have anything to do with the other, because although she has a lot of, you know, grappling experience and more green, you know, and a lot of green, more green in the red, more wins than losses in that grappling. She also has, you know, losses in the grappling department, in the grappling competitions to individuals who have horrendous MMA records and horrendous UFC runs, you know what I'm saying? So one thing really has nothing to do with the other. So I believe it's T, if I'm not mistaken, that has the grappling background. I might be mistaken. It might be Stephanie, but I do believe it's T, 5-0, that has the grappling experience as well. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't move me at all. Not one bit in this matchup, man. I don't think she'd be going to be able to implement that or implement her game. I've already spent too much time on this motherfucking fight, man. You know what I mean? I apologize. We 3 fights up. We 12 minutes in. That's 4 minutes of fight, and I ain't even spent, you know, most of my time was spent on G versus K. K's catching the L, and Stephanie versus T. A bunch of motherfuckers I don't care about, names I can't pronounce. Jesus, my bad, y'all. Stephanie's the pick, though. I want absolutely nothing to do with this fight. I highly suggest y'all have nothing to do with this fight. G versus K, who's taking the L, that shit should be first. Then Stephanie versus T, that shit should be next. And then I guess you could put Danny Barlow versus Old Boy after that. And then give us these next fights. But the placement isn't my call, man. Danny Barlow to get it done over Old Boy. Want nothing to do with Gregorio G, whatever G versus K. I want nothing to do with that fight, but K's catching the L. Stephanie versus T. I want nothing to do with that fight, but I feel like T's catching the L. Give me Stephanie and her 9 years youth, her 6 to 8 inches in the reach advantage, her 5 inches in the height, and I'm all right with those advantages in a low-level women's MMA fight that doesn't belong on this fucking card anyway. You know what I mean? Fuck. Yeah, Yana versus Chelsea, man. Jesus, are we serious? Yana versus Chelsea, man. I can't roll this fast enough. I got some Master Kush on deck too, man. I'm gonna need it for this fucking card. Yana versus Chelsea, man. Chelsea's a slight dog, man. And one thing for sure, 2 things for certain. Chelsea's a fucking dog. She got dog all up in her. You understand what I'm saying to you? So if she's at dog money on a card in a tier slap somewhere in between low and mid-level MMA, women's MMA, give me the dog play. Give me Chelsea. I know Chelsea's a dog. Chelsea's that female, you know, female version of a Diaz brother. You know, she got that soft frame. And it's crazy though. It's crazy though, because I'm just sitting here flashing back and I'm like, Chelsea at dog money. I'll take her in a low to mid-level women's MMA game because she got dog in her. I'm feeling like, you know, she got more dog than Yana in her. Then I start thinking about when she quit. The shit just flashed across my motherfucking, across my inner. Her just fucking falling apart in that octagon. God damn. For the sake of a pick, though, we gonna rock with Chelsea. I don't have a whole lot to say about this fight. This shit's fucked up, man. This shit's fucked up. This is another clear example, clear example of one of many cards to come that I spoke about many months back when I first jumped on here. You know what I mean? A couple cards in, I believe it happened. You know, and I knew it was going to take place and continue to take place for quite a few times throughout the next 12 to 18 months. Dana White and the UFC have got to take the trash out. They got to get rid of the trash, man. You know what I mean? There's quite a few fights and matchups that we're going to, you know, be subject to that one, if not both of those individuals come Sunday morning are going to be cut from the promotion. You know what I mean? Regardless on the outcome and the performance. You feel me? They just both might be fucking cut. You know what I'm saying? But possibly if one does something in spectacular fashion to secure the victory, maybe they stay on for another fight or two before they fucking cut, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of trash that needs to be taken out. And it's all, you know, that's all self-inflicted wounds of Dana White and the UFC, opening all these fucking doors. Dana White Contender Series, road to the UFC, looking for a fucking fighter. Where's this fighter? Where's that fighter? And every other motherfucking thing they can do to get a fighter into the UFC. Now, you know, the UFC level of opposition is no longer what the, you know, UFC level of opposition used to be. It's only in the top. Most divisions, it's just in the top 10. Everybody else, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people floating around outside the top 15 and shit that just don't belong inside the motherfucking UFC, but the doors have been opened. They are the Dana White Contender Series alumni. You understand what I'm saying to you? But, you know, don't get overly invested in these prospects. I told motherfuckers about it with Christian Rodriguez, because they gonna find their way up to a fucking fight, and that fight's gonna be a fucking roadblock. You know what I mean? It's gonna be their ceiling, man. You know what I mean? Told motherfuckers what Julian Rosa was gonna do to Christian Rodriguez, because Julian Rosa is not a motherfucking, you know, he's not Delgarian, he's not Simone, and he's not motherfucking Raul Rosas. He's a different fucking fighter, and it's gonna be a different outcome. The same way I said about motherfucking, you know, old boy Elvis Brenner, man. He nice, but he a prospect. Oralby's a prospect, you know what I'm saying? Guram, regardless of how anybody feel about it, he was a prospect. He came in, you know, he's fighting this dude on like his third or fourth fight. He's a prospect that wasn't working out well for him. Put him in there with Joe Alvarez. I know what the fuck happened to him. That's why you can't be overly invested in these prospects that are taking out other prospects, man. That's Dana White and the UFC's fault, though. There's so many fucking prospects, man. You know what I mean? They've overflowed the motherfucking, opened the doors for motherfuckers that are 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 on a Contender Series to just come in here. You know what I mean? Now it just isn't what it used to be. I don't like either one of these, you know what I mean, young women. I'm not high on their bodies of work. Just give me Chelsea as a dog, man. Complete pass on the fight, though. Carl versus old boy. I do not know how to say his first name. I don't think I knew how to say his fucking last name, or I would have tried to write one of them down. You know what I mean? Carl Williams versus old boy, though, man. And I'm taking Carl Williams. It says heavyweight MMA, though, if I'm not mistaken. You understand what I'm saying to you? So it is what it is. I'm going to rock with Carl, though, to get this one done. Most likely via unanimous decision, man. He's going to frustrate the fuck out of this young man. Possibly get him out of there inside the distance via submission. I ain't going to hold you. He'll possibly get this motherfucker up out of there. I think old boy, is he undefeated? I ain't marked that shit down. I know he got 7 knockout wins. I know Carl's only loss is a submission loss. That ain't old boy's game. You know what I mean? Carl don't gotta worry about shooting the motherfucking takedowns, getting this motherfucker to the ground, playing the top game on him. You know, none of that. None of that. He doesn't have to worry about, and the only thing he gotta worry about if he play around on the motherfucking feet too long with this young man. This young man, he like to knock motherfuckers smooth out. So Carl can go in that motherfucker if he want, acting like Mr. Durability, you know, and try to just outstrike this young man and knock him the fuck out. But that would not be smart on his part. You know what I mean? Wouldn't be smart on his part, man. I like Carl to get this one done. He hasn't been up against a great level of opposition in his own right, in my personal opinion. He has been up against a slightly higher, yet better level of opposition. Just not a great level of opposition, but he has been up against a better level of opposition, and he has secured victories up against a better level of opposition, in my personal opinion. I don't really see him finishing old boy unless it's by submission. So give me Carl Williams by decision, man. You know what I'm saying? Carol Rosa versus right? Versus Penny, however you say old girl's name. I'm rocking with Carol, man. I'm rocking with Carol to get this one done via unanimous decision. Possibly, you know, inside the distance, but if she finds the finish, more likely just unanimous decision. I don't even really want to say 2 rounds to 1, man. 3 rounds to none. You know what I mean? 30-27, clean across the fucking board, man. Carol Rosa. Oh, Carol. I fuck around saying the wrong name last, and I don't even want to do that. I don't want to disrespect her like that, man, because you know, this isn't high-level women's MMA. You know what I mean? This is a bit above mid-level women's MMA, and Carol's gonna run away with this decision, in my personal opinion, man. Old girl on the other side, man, it's just, she ain't the one. She's not the one. Not in any way, shape, form, or fashion. There's nothing about her body of work. There's nothing about her resumes, her wins, her losses, nothing. There's absolutely nothing impressive or spectacular about any of it. On the other side, man, I ain't gonna hold you. Carol, nice body of work, man. Solid, well-rounded. Everybody over here knows how high I am on Jocelyn Edwards as far as this tier of women's MMA goes, man. You know what I'm saying? And some of the other individuals that she has wins over in and outside of the UFC. You know what I mean? She's fought good competition, man, and she's fared quite fucking well. You know what I mean? Her body of work is just that much better than Penny's, or however you say old girl's name. Absolutely everywhere, in my personal opinion. She's got her covered in every fucking department, so you're catching her at a, you know, a wonderful number on the money line as far as women's MMA goes, man. I'm confident in that pick, man. My guy, Chepe. I'm sad. I'm sad that we're catching him where he fucking belongs to be now. At minus 200 and above, man, against these fucking guys, man. And I ain't even calling Damon J. Ain't no fucking scrub. He can catch and clip any body at any given time. Huh? Yes, he can. And I've taken him at dog money to do so. Chepe's not going to give him that chance. Chepe's not going to give him that chance, man. Chepe's going to do what he want to do in there. And he's going to secure this victory. Chepe still got some things to prove, man. You know what I mean? He's climbing his way up the ladder. I'm not saying Chepe Mariscal has an extremely high ceiling in this division in the UFC, and he's going to be champion. But trust me when I tell you, man, he going to creep. He going to quietly keep creeping his motherfucking way on up in them rankings and get them big fights, man. Know what I mean? Damon's not going to stop that from happening, in my personal opinion. You can lock Chepe Mariscal the fuck up, man. That's my guy, man. It's my guy. In and outside the UFC, so that's why when he came into the UFC, I was all over him as dog money. Huh? And I've cashed on that man accordingly. You understand what I'm saying to you? I fucks with Chepe, man. I fuck with him. He's solid, man. He's solid. He's solid. I had to tell everybody when everybody was all over me in the comment section and all over me for my pick against Morgan Shirley or wherever the fuck it was and all that old other shit, man. Miss me with that and lock Chepe up. That's what I told him, motherfucker. I know what Chepe did, regardless of how anybody feel about it. Huh? He keep on securing them victories, man. He keep on putting out and producing that body of work, man. Very well-rounded, very solid, very powerful in his own right. Very fast, very strong, very good movement, angles, all of it, man. You know what I mean? That judo, that jujitsu, the striking, I mean, everything. It's all there, man. It's all there, man. And at this point in Damon's career, right here, right now, in 2024, I got Chepe Mariscal. And I got Chepe Mariscal possibly just getting him out of there inside the fucking distance. You know what I'm saying? If not, it's Chepe Mariscal by unanimous decision. You know what I mean? But this is Chepe, man. It's definitely Chepe. Lock him the fuck up. Alan, right? Nascimento versus Fiallo. I'm on Nascimento in this spot. You know what I mean? I'm not overly impressed with Nascimento. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like he is that much better than a Fiallo, and deserves to be where he's at on the money line. He's going to cash. He's going to secure the bag if you bet him, if you parlay him. I believe that's safe. I already have. You understand what I'm saying to you? It's all around body of work, man. My mouth dry, throat dry, whatever you want to call it. His all around body of work, though. You know what I'm saying? Up against the level of opposition that he's been up against, man. And I'm not shitting on Fiallo. You know what I'm saying? But this isn't, in my personal opinion. God dang. In my personal opinion, this isn't a winnable matchup for that young man. You know what I'm saying? So I'm all over Nascimento, man. To get this one done via unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1. And that's if the young man does not find the finish inside the distance, because if it presents itself, he'll take it, man. He's not going to over eagerly, go after it. But if it presents itself, he will take it. You understand what I'm saying to you? And in the meantime, I just like him to do the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes to secure the unanimous decision. Now, this one right here, I'm having problems with, man. Because I locked up a 5-legger, and I wanted to lock up this 6-legger so bad, so confidently. But he's facing a motherfucker that I've just, I've cashed so much money at dog money with, you know what I mean? And I know he's capable of getting it done. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't have this shit, man. I should have wrote this down. I think they like both 14-5-1 or 15-4-1. Like they have the same fucking records. So somebody's record, it's like when somebody's gotta go. Somebody's shit changing on Saturday. I think they like 14-5-1 or 14-5-1 or 15-4-1. Both of them, if I'm not fucking mistaken. I might be mistaken. That might be somebody else's shit on here, but I believe it's these two right here, man. Because this is the one that got me stuck. Jarno and Zalal. Now Zalal, he's sitting as one of the biggest betting favorites on the money line. And I get it, I guess, based off of his, last performance, or I don't know if that was his last performance or not. Based off of, his coming back into the UFC. Has he fought since, I can't remember if I think he has fought one more time, right? He fought one more time. Whatever, since he's been back into the UFC. I know I bet against him when he re-entered the UFC against Billy Q, you know what I mean? And that was within the 2 weeks where the two Billies had me looking silly. Billy Q had me looking silly with Yusef Zalal, and Billy, what's his name, had me looking silly with Kyle Nelson, you know what I'm saying? And then I said it again this last time, watch out for Billy, and Billy went looking silly again against motherfucking Sung Woo, or whatever it was, right? Yeah. So Zalal caught me on that one, you know what I mean? But with that being said, the way Billy's looked lately, I don't know how much stock I can invest into that one, man. Zalal wasn't really high on Zalal, man. His first run in the UFC. When he first came into the UFC, I wasn't high on him. His first run in the UFC, I wasn't really high on him. So when he went out and had a little winning streak outside the UFC like most do and came back into the UFC, I wanted to fade him with Billy Q. That shit didn't work out for me. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like I locked up my 5. I locked up Javid Basharat, Alan Nascimento, Chepe Mariscal, Carl Williams, and Danny Barlow. I locked up them because I'm confident in them to go ahead and get it done. You know what I'm saying? I locked up Javid, Chepe, Nascimento, and Danny as 4 legs, you know what I mean? Because I was confident in them. So I'm invested in those 4 legs. I'm invested in those 5 legs. But then these 6 legs, I wanted to just drop one, but I had to drop two. I had to swap out option. I had to do those 5 and add Zalal and swap out Zalal and add Jarno, because there's a night where Jarno gets this one done and fucks up everybody's bag. But I also did a 5-legger and had these 2 as a swap out option. I did Basharat, Nascimento, Mariscal, and Barlow. I left Williams the fuck up out of there, heavyweight MMA. Might get knocked the fuck out for the first time in his, in his career. I don't want to say his life. He might have been slept somewhere else, but in his career. You understand what I'm saying to you? And the 5th leg, I went, Zalal, and then swapped out and went Jarno. You know what I mean? So I got a few things going on already that we'll touch on in a little bit. But this fight got me fucked up, man. Maybe it don't got none of y'all fucked up. Maybe y'all are highly confident on whatever side that y'all are standing on. I'm not. Not at all, in any way, shape, form, or fashion when it comes to this fight, man, because I like Jarno, man. I like Jarno. I like Jarno's body of work. I like Jarno's frame, his range, his length, his striking, his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling, his grab. Like, he's solid. He's well-rounded. I don't believe that Youssef Zalal is a higher level of opposition than Jarno Arnold. I don't believe he's I don't believe Zalal's that much higher level of an opposition than Jarno to be where they are, on the money line, man. This fight should be, if it's, but who the fuck am I? But if it's not a pick'em, and we're just saying that Zalal is, done well in the UFC since coming back into it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been up against a better level of opposition than Jarno, if that's what you want to say. And Jarno, didn't he take a loss to Sung Woo or something like that? Who Billy just took a loss to, too? A loss to Sung Woo is not really a bad loss, man. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Zalal could show up and get this one done inside the distance and look magnificent. Zalal could show up and get this one done via unanimous decision and look magnificent. Zalal could show up and get this one done via split decision and not look that magnificent. Jarno could show up, and if Zalal want to fuck around too much, sink in a submission and get this one done inside the distance, put him in a couple compromisable positions over the course of 15 minutes and get it done via split decision. This fight's fucked up, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? I'll pick Zalal, man. I'll pick Zalal. Nowhere near my most confident picks. Nowhere near my lock 'em up picks. Nowhere near my picks when we talking about my solid picks who we parlaying up. Swap out options Zalal is the Zalal I'm picking, man. Because I don't have confidence in that fight, man. I don't, man. I believe they're both like 15-4-1 or 14-5-1. Very well matched up as far as age, frame, size, reach, height, like. And although Zalal might have faced the better level of opposition in his first UFC run and in his career, he lost to some of that higher level of opposition too. And I don't really know how high of a level of opposition that a Billy Q is these days from the run he's been on as of late, man. So just a shaky fight for me. Maybe not for y'all, but for me. Basharat versus Gutierrez, man. With all due respect to Chris Gutierrez and Chris Gutierrez's body of work, I just believe Basharat is going to edge him out just a bit everywhere to get this one via unanimous, possibly majority decision. Possibly split decision, possibly majority decision. I'm calling unanimous decision, 2 rounds to 1. But there's a night where Chris makes this very fucking competitive. You know what I mean? And Basharat is a bit tentative in the striking department. Doesn't want, just kind of wants to be a perfectionist, get everything right everywhere and not risk another L. So, it is what it is. But I'm on Basharat as the pick. I'm confident in him. Just not exactly what version of Basharat we're going to get against Gutierrez and what version of Gutierrez we're going to get on Saturday, man. You know what I mean? I just don't believe that the best version of Gutierrez can beat an off-night version of Basharat, though. So that's with all due respect, man. I fuck with the kid, man. You know what I mean? But I don't think he's getting this one done. On to the main event, man. Marcin Tybura versus Sergey Spivac, man. Part 2. I said it before. Are we going to get the rematch? Are we going to get the rubber match? Will there be a part 3? Or will this rivalry be deaded by the OG and Marcin Tybura, man? You know what I'm saying? If you're asking me for a pick, it's for the OG, man. Marcin Tybura to go ahead and dead this rivalry and possibly call it a quits, man. I wouldn't be surprised if he deaded this, you know. It's no championship aspirations or anything for this young man. He's a staple in the heavyweight division. You understand what I'm saying to you? Very fucking well-rounded, very solid in every department, in my personal opinion. You know what I mean? And while Sergey Spivac is quite a bit younger and does hold that youth advantage, he was quite a bit younger and held that same youth advantage in their first matchup. And I know that that first matchup was prior to this matchup, and the miles and the years and the age, and it's just a bit different now. But you can miss me with all that shit. You know what I mean? And Tybura is the pick, man. Tybura is the pick. 3 rounds to 2. Unanimous decision. But I would not be surprised if he chipped away at Spivac, and Spivac chipped away at his own gas tank in his own right by, you know, trying to push too hard too early. Tybura's built for this shit. Understand what I'm saying to you? And I could see him getting Spivac out of there somewhere in the 4th round, 4th or 5th. In them championship rounds, you know what I'm saying? Main event rounds, getting him the fuck up out of there because Spivac's done too much trying to get him out of there, and Tybura's done just enough chipping away at him on the way to there. You know what I mean? Spivac crumbles. Tybura, you know, walks away victorious yet again, but this time takes his gloves off, man. Ends it on a 5-round main event, you know, inside the distance somewhere in the 4th, or unanimous decision victory. Performance of the night worthy. Give him some more bread and send him on his way, man. Tybura's the pick, man. I ain't never really been too high on Spivac. And like I said, miss me with the youth advantage in this fight. This is not like that low-level women's MMA bout where I'll take the youth advantage and the 6 to 8 inch reach advantage and the 5-inch height. Spivac doesn't have that kind of height and reach advantage and none of them other advantages. He just has the youth advantage, and I personally don't feel like that's going to be enough to get Tybura out of there on what I believe Tybura also believes to be, you know, some of his final days as far as the octagon comes, and possibly his final 5-round main event. You understand what I'm saying to you, man? Because that heavyweight divisions and the rankings and just the matchups and everything is crazy right now. So regardless of whatever outcome happens in this fight and whatever way Tybura is able to secure the victory, you know, there's really no big fights coming for him. They have no plans for this man, in my personal opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's his time, man, to go ahead and step down. Not pass a fucking torch to Spivac and step down. Put his stamp on his career. You know what I mean? And step down. Give me Tybura, man. You know what I mean? Danny Barlow over old boy. Hopefully that's not the first fight of the night, man. With some of these other fucking fights on this card, hopefully that's not the first fight of the night, man. But it's Danny Barlow, man. Danny Barlow to get it done. I told y'all the pick for the sake of a pick is going to be G over K. G being Gregorio over Kazama, or whatever the fuck old boy Kazama's name is. I got G serving K a L. You know what I mean? For the sake of a pick, I got Stephanie serving T and L. Giving her her first L. She'll be 5. She's 5-0. She's gonna go to 5-1, and Stephanie 5-1-1 is gonna go to 6-1-1. I got Stephanie, but that's for the sake of a pick. Leave that fucking fight alone, man. And Yana versus Chelsea. Those 3 fights, just leave them the fuck alone, man. Complete pass, absolutely nothing to do with them. Complete trash, in my personal opinion. My apologies to anybody on the other side of this motherfucking screen that's high on either one of those individuals. Either one of those 6 individuals involved in those 3 fights. Gregorio, Kazama, Stephanie, T, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Yana, and Chelsea, man. If you're on any of them, my apologies. There's plenty of other respectable individuals that'll dig deeper into those fights for you, man. Fucking skip them, though, as far as I'm concerned. But Gregorio will be the pick, Stephanie will be a pick, and Chelsea will be the pick. But I don't want nothing to do with them shits. Now let's talk about some real picks. Danny Barlow, man. I like Danny Barlow. Know what I mean? Chepe Mariscal. I like Chepe, man. I love Chepe this week, man. With all due respect to Damon Jackson. Know what I mean? How can I not love this young man in this spot when I know exactly what the fuck he's capable of, man? That's the homie, man. Y'all keep sleeping on that young man if y'all want to. You know what I'm talking about? Chepe, though. Chepe's the pick, man. All right? Nascimento, Alan. Give me Nascimento over Fialo, man. Nascimento's the pick. So that's Barlow. Lock him in. Nascimento. Lock him in. Mariscal. Lock him in. And Basharat. Javid. Lock him in. I'm highly confident that Carl Williams will get the win. You know what I mean? I'd like to say I'm highly confident that Zalal will get the win, but I'm not, so that's going to be a swap out option spot. You know what I'm saying? Carol Rosa, man. Carol Rosa. We talking about women's MMA, you know what I mean? On this tier, on this level, I think she shines bright in this matchup, and I like her, man. You know what I mean? I like her. You know what I'm talking about? Yup. Tybura against Spivac, man. Spivac. I like the OG. I like the OG to get it done. And not just for the reasons I stated, man, but he has produced, in my personal opinion, in his run in the UFC, the better body of work up against the level of opposition he's been up against. You understand what I'm saying to you? He has produced a better body of work all around. You know what I mean? It's why he won the first go-around. It's why this rivalry's going to be done when he wins the second go-around. You understand what I'm saying to you? And in my personal opinion, so will be his career. He will retire, man. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I personally, you can run with it, you can run from it. You understand what I'm saying to you? But, you know, Basharat, Nascimento, Chepe, and Danny Barlow, I've locked them 4 up in a parlay. I've locked up in a 5-leg parlay. I went and I did Basharat, Nascimento, Chepe, Barlow, and Williams, Carl. You know what I'm saying? Then another 5-legger I did. I took Carl the fuck up out of there, and I did swap out options. So there's 2 5-leggers. I did Basharat, Nascimento, Chepe, Barlow, and Zalal. Took Zalal out, same 4, and did Jarno. But then I did do a 6-legger with swap out options, and that was Basharat, Nascimento, Chepe, Barlow, Carl, and Zalal. Then swap out Zalal and add in Jarno. One that I haven't put in yet, but I'm gonna go put in, gonna go like this. It's leaving that heavyweight fight the fuck up out of there. And it's leaving that questionable fight, for me anyway, the fuck up out of there. And we gonna go with Basharat, Nascimento, Mariscal, Danny Barlow, and Carol. Not Carl, Carol. Rosa, however you say Carol's last name. But those 5, I like them 5 right there. I ain't gonna hold you. Probably gonna drop a half unit on those 5. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it comes out to, it's gonna come out to. I don't know yet. I haven't looked at all that right there yet. I'm gonna tap back in here in a little bit and upload this parlay video. It's gonna be prelims, main card, whole card. It's gonna have all that for you as far as what the payouts are and all that. You know what I'm saying? But that's that with that, man. You know what I mean? That is that with that. The pick is Danny. The pick is Carol. The pick is Carl. The pick is Chepe. The pick is Nascimento. The pick is Basharat. The pick is Tybura. And for the sake of a pick, I'm going to go ahead and rock with Zalal, Chelsea, Stephanie, and Gregorio. That'll be it, though, man. That's how I'm doing it. You know what I mean? I told y'all who I really like, just like I told y'all who I really liked last week, early in the week. And when it comes to these parlays, my main parlays on the individuals that I really like, the ones that I'm heavily invested in, they will be posted on the community wall. Just like the 5-legger and the 6-legger was posted on the community. Now listen, there was an 8-legger and that posted on the wall too. Obviously they didn't come through, but the 5-legger came through, the 6-legger came through. When I did the parlay video and I offered up the main card parlays, everybody that I was on came through and smacked all 5 of them. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I do it. This is why I stress it. And this is why I'm redundant about it. Prelims, main card, whole card, man. So one thing doesn't have anything to do with the other. And if the prelims fumble or the main cards fumbles, it doesn't fuck up the other one. You know what I'm saying? I can't say it anymore. I can't say it anymore, man. Prelims, main card, whole card, haymakers. Make sure one thing has nothing to do with the other before you mix and mingle. Now I'm talking about, and if you really want to get technical, don't bet on the first fight of the night. That's why I'm hoping they shuffle this shit around, because some of my main things, man, don't bet on the first fight of the night. Don't bet on the last fight of the night. When it comes to betting and parlaying, don't bet on the first fight of the night. Don't bet or parlay the last fight of the night. Women's MMA, heavyweight MMA, individuals making their UFC debuts, individuals that are minus 500 or above, or anybody that you got too many question marks on from one side of the fight, let alone both sides of the fights. And if you trim all that shit out the fucking way and put you a little 3-4-legger together, I promise you more times than not, it's gonna fucking smack. Know what I mean? That's that with that. I appreciate y'all for tapping in.